Okay, gang, let's try number 47, section 3.6. So we have to find the equation of the tangent line at this point on this function. Alright, and I see that we have an arc cos, so I went ahead and wrote down the formula for the derivative here. Okay, so let's look at the function. I see a variable times a variable, so I'm going to do product rule. So I'm going to take this as a team and then this guy, okay? Take the derivative. So product rule. So first times the derivative of the second piece. Now for the second piece, this guy here is the u. So it's negative u prime. So let's start with that. So it's going to be negative, derivative of x is 1, derivative of a constant is 0. So it's going to end up being negative 1 over 1 minus, now you have to do x minus 1 is the u, quantity squared. Right, this whole thing is the u, so you have to do x minus 1 quantity squared. And yes, we have to simplify that. Alright, so first times the derivative of the second piece plus the second piece. Whoops, I need one more c in there. Times the derivative of the first piece. Derivative of the first piece is 4. Okay, because the first piece we're taking that as 4x. Alright, gang, let's like chisel away at this for a moment, what's under here. So I'm just going to write like a little side work underneath so I don't have to keep rewriting the whole thing. So if we just look at the part that's under there, this thing. Alright, so for this part here you have to simplify this. So you're going to FOIL, right, this is two of these. You have x minus 1 times x minus 1. You're going to FOIL this guy first. And you have to be careful when you FOIL it because this negative is then going to affect everything behind it. Right, so the foiling of that's going to give you 3 terms, and then you have to negative all of that. So then I distributed the negative to all of these. And now I'm going to combine like terms. This isn't a wrong order. It just might look a little better if we write it like this. But it doesn't matter. You don't have to write it in a different order. Okay, so you're going to see me fiddle with that for a second. So we have y prime equals, I'm just going to put the 4x, I'm just going to times the 4x times the negative 1 here. Alright, what did we get for this? We got 2x minus x squared is a simplified form. Okay. Plus, bring the 4 in the front because it's a multiplier. It doesn't go into the trig, okay? Never goes into the trig. Some students might factor out a 4 from both terms. That's fine. Okay, so this is the derivative. So if we're going to do the equation of the tangent line, we're going to start by finding m using the derivative. So let's see, the derivative is just going to take the x value. The derivative is just a function of x. It's not a function of x and y this time. So we're just going to let x be 1. What is my handwriting? My hand's got like a little brain at the end of the finger there. It thinks it's doing its own show. Okay. Alright, so let's just simplify this. So we're going to get negative 4. This is going to be 2 minus 1, which is the square root of 1, which is going to be square root of 1, which is 1. So this is going to come down to be a 1 when you do all the values there. Okay, this is going to end up being the arc cosine of 0. So the arc cosine of 0, remember when you first cut the cosine function, you cut it from 0 to pi. Right, for the cosine function, you cut it from 0 to pi. Brain, work with me here. This is 0, 1. This is pi negative 1. This is pi over 2, 0. So this is a cosine function, so remember for the inverse you're going to swap it. So it's asking, this is basically asking, if you recall from pre-calc, the cosine of what angle would equal to 0, right? I'm going backwards. I'm trying to figure out what it is backwards. So the cosine was 0 when the angle was pi over 2. So it's 4 times pi over 2. Remember, this is the inverse or the opposite. So when it says cosine of 0, and when it says arc cosine of 0, it's asking what angle does that equal? And that's going to be pi over 2 on the restricted cut from 0 to pi. Alright, so we can reduce this. So remember when we were doing the arcs in pre-calc, the cosine was cut from 0 to pi. The sine function was cut from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And the tangent function was cut from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, excluding the endpoints because of the vertical asymptotes. And those universal restrictions were important because when we go ahead and do the arcs, the output of the arcs have to stay within this range, right? The range of an arc cosine is 0 to pi. The range of an arc sine is negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. The range of an arc tangent is negative pi over 2 to pi over 2, excluding the endpoints. So it's these we memorized in pre-calc. If anybody forgot how to do this and you send me a note, I will try to find the pre-calc lecture on this and upload it to calculus. Okay, if I may just try to do this anyway, but if you've forgotten it, that's what that's from. Alright, so back to this, back to living the dream over here. Where are we at? So y prime is equal to negative 4 plus 2 pi. Alright, so that is the slope. Alright, so now we have to find b. So to find b, remember we plug in now the full coordinate, 1 and 2 pi. So y is 2 pi. X is 1. Okay, so we're going to subtract 2 pi from both sides. As you can tell, that goes away. And then you have to move the 4 to the other side. Well, I wasn't expecting that to come out so nice. That's sort of nice when that happens. Okay, so y is going to equal to negative 4 plus 2 pi x plus our b, which we got as 4. Alright gang, that's the answer. Now remember, the book, because it just loves manipulating answers, may write this in a totally different form. They could, for instance, write this as like 2 pi x minus 4x minus y plus 4 equals to 0. Okay, they can have all sorts of fun with this, right? So I want you guys to check your answers, but if sometimes I give you an answer and it doesn't quite match the book, it's just that they're formatting it differently than I am, okay? Alright, so this is the final answer for this one, and again, they may have just swung everything to one side. Okay, gang, I hope that helps. Catch you. Bye-bye.